Welcome. Today we're going to dig into a really powerful way to solve those annoying problems that just keep coming back. It's called root cause analysis, and it's all about finding permanent solutions instead of just slapping on another temporary fix.
You know the feeling, right? It's like you're playing a game of whack-a-mole. You fix one thing and bam, another issue. Or sometimes the very same one pops right back up. It is so frustrating and it feels like you're just spinning your wheels.
Well, that's because a lot of us are just treating symptoms. Think about it this way. Treating a symptom is like bailing water out of a leaky boat. Yeah, it keeps you from sinking for a little while, but you're not actually solving the problem. Finding the root cause, that's like actually finding and patching the leak. It's the real solution that stops the water for good.
So, the big question is, how do we get better at patching the leaks instead of just endlessly bailing water? Well, it starts by looking beyond the obvious symptoms.
And this is exactly where root cause analysis, or RCA, comes into play. Now, this isn't just guesswork. It's a structured process, a set of steps you can follow to really understand a problem, find its actual causes, and then put a solution in place that fixes it at its very core.
I love this way of putting it. Look, anybody can run around putting out fires, but real problem solving is about finding what caused the spark in the first place so the fire never even starts. And that's what RCA helps you do. Make smarter decisions that lead to solutions that actually last.
So, how do you actually do this? It's probably less complicated than it sounds. Let's walk through the 5-step method for a really solid root cause analysis.
Okay, here's our roadmap. First, we define the problem. Simple enough. Then we gather the facts. We collect the data. Next, we brainstorm all the things that could be causing the issue. From that list, we drill down to find the real root cause. And finally, we recommend and implement a solution. It's a clear path that takes you from confusion to real action.
First up, let's talk about step 1, define the problem.
Now, this might sound super basic, but trust me, it is absolutely critical. You have to get specific. What exactly is happening? What are the things you can see and measure? Because if you have a vague, fuzzy idea of the problem, well, you have an impossible problem to solve.
Okay, next up is step 2, collect the data.
So once you know what the problem is, it's time to put on your detective hat. We're moving beyond opinions and into hard facts. What evidence do you have that the problem is real? How long has this been going on? This data provides the clues you need to crack the case.
All right, let's move on to step 3, identify possible causal factors. Now that you have your facts, you can start connecting the dots. What sequence of events seems to lead to this problem? Where's the gap between what should be happening and what is happening? Right now, your job is just to list every single thing that could possibly be playing a part.
And that brings us to the most important stage of all. Step 4, identifying the root cause. This is where we really start digging, looking below the surface to find what's really going on. See, the key thing to realize is that a lot of those causal factors you just listed, they're often just more symptoms. So for each one, you have to dig deeper. A fantastic technique here is called the 5 whys. You just keep asking why until you can't ask it anymore. That final answer, the one that, if you fixed it, would prevent the whole chain of events from happening again, that is your root cause. So once you've struck gold and found that true root cause, it's finally time for action. Let's talk about step 5. Recommend and implement solutions.
The whole mindset shifts here. It's not about cleaning up the current mess anymore. The question becomes, what can we put in place to make sure this root cause can never trigger this problem again? That's how you build a permanent fix.
But hey, finding the solution is really only half the battle. A lot of people stop there. Now we have to focus on what really matters, implementing that solution.
Before you jump in, you really need a plan. You have to ask, who is going to be responsible for this? Who owns it? And what are the pros and cons of this particular solution? And finally, you have to map out step by step how you're actually going to roll it out. Because a brilliant solution with a terrible implementation is just a failed solution.
And one last super important point. Problem solving is not a straight line from A to B. It's a loop. You have to test your solution, get feedback on how it's working, and be ready to tweak and improve it. The goal here is progress, not perfection on the first try.
So, as we wrap up, I want you to start thinking of this 5-step method as more than just a process. It's a powerful new tool you can add to your problem-solving toolkit for work and for life.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Solving problems needs more than dealing with symptoms. It needs digging deep into it to find the root cause. It's all about changing your mindset from searching for a quick fix to finding a deep, lasting solution.
And that leaves us with one final thought for you. Think about your work, or your team, or even just your own life. What's that one problem that feels unsolvable because it just keeps coming back? Now that you have this framework, which one are you going to tackle first?